Hello YouTube, I'm back with another video of working on this Glarry Gjazz 5-string, and something that I thought about. This is aimed more towards beginners that may not know, but on basses you don't have to like totally loosen the strings all the way. You can just loosen them enough where you can lift the strings off of the post. You don't have to loosen them up all the way. And the way this particular one is strung, I like to have at least a couple of wraps, but whoever strung this one up didn't measure right. And I do have a video on my channel about getting the exact string length that you need by measuring sound posts. So yeah, so that's all you got to do is just loosen it up a little bit. But I'm going to be replacing this soft plastic nut that comes on the Glarry with a TUSQ nut. And I did a little work on this before, but it's still not quite evened out all the way. I picked up some needle files today, and gonna get that kind of adjusted, flatten out that bottom. It's still pretty rough cut. See if I can get the camera angle on here. You can see where they probably cut that with a nut slot saw, and it hasn't been filed because you can see it's pretty rough. You can see a definite cut down in the bottom there. It's just not even, so I'm gonna try to even that out with some files and get that new nut put in there. Okay, before I get started, I'm gonna get this precision caliper calibrated so I can see the depth to see how uneven it is. See, I can't even get it seated down on that side. This side, it's about 3.29. I can't even get it seated down on this side, so you can see it's not even, and the slot isn't even cut even. All right, before I get to using these files, I just wanted to show you that you don't have to spend a lot of money on tools if you're wanting to work on your own instruments. Got these at Harbor Freight Tools. This needle file set, it's high carbon steel, lifetime warranty. This was $2.99, and these are diamond file set, and this one was $6.99. So for both of these sets, it was $10.81 out the door. And they got a lot of variety of sizes and shapes to use, so you don't have to spend a lot of money. Okay, ideally you would want the STUMAC nut slot seating tool, but that one is really pricey, so this is just a flat 90-degree file that's in that needle file set, and I'm just gonna see if I can't get this to where it's more even. And I'm not gonna bore you with the whole process here, but I just wanted to show you that this would work Just gonna try to even that out and get that bottom more level so that nut will seat down in there better. I'll come back when I get this done. Kind of need 2 hands, so stay tuned. All right, I found this one in the set, and it's actually better. It's got more 90-degree cuts, and it's almost exactly the size I need for this slot. So this is gonna work well. Okay, just after a few minutes of filing, now I've got that slot even, got all those cut marks out of there, and now the new nut sits in there, sits down, sits where it's supposed to. And I'm gonna put just a little touch of wood glue in there to hold it in place, and get this strung up and see how it sounds. A lot of people, when they put the nuts in there, I've seen a lot of videos where people use super glue. I just use Titebond original wood glue, just because this is not as destructive if you ever have to remove this. Super glue, it is super glue, so when you put a nut in with super glue, it sticks to the wood, and if you ever have to take it out, it can get wood chips and remove a lot of material. And this is pretty easy to remove, so that's what I use. You know, everybody's an expert if you ask their opinion, so that's just what I like to use. I put way more in here than I really needed, but I wanted to do that for demonstration. Another good thing about the Titebond original wood glue, just get you a wet cloth, and it's real easy to get this squeeze out cleaned up. Just make sure you do that before it dries. So, and there's not really any need to put a clamp on there or anything like that. Just get it in there and let it set up, and then get your strings back on. Okay, as you can see, this nut is the exact width that's needed for this Glarry Gjazz 5-string. I'm not gonna need to do any sanding or finish work. I mean, it's exactly the right width, and that's the model number P0142500. And it also looks like it's exactly the correct height. I don't think I'm gonna have to do anything with the slots, unless they're not the correct width. But I mean, that's perfect. So I'm gonna let this Titebond set up and get the strings back on. Okay, again, this is for beginners that may not know you can do this, but when you slip those strings off, all you gotta do is just slip it back on like that, and then tighten it back up. Again, this is just for the beginners. I'm sure, You experienced players already know that, but you know, you gotta start somewhere, gotta learn somewhere. So let's see here. You just take the string and put it back down in that hole and just kind of slip it back over the tuner. Again, that's a tip for beginners, or if you're an experienced player and didn't know you could do that. I'm gonna finish getting this strung up and see how it sounds. Okay, so I got the strings back on and the nut shifted. I don't know if you've seen my original posting for this bass, but I mentioned that the nuts were not coming straight off of the strings were not coming straight off of the nut onto the tuning machines, because the whole design of the Jazz bass, P bass, Leo Fender style bass is the strings come straight off of the nut to help with tuning stability. Well, when I started tightening the strings, the nut slipped over and now the strings are straight, but the nut is offset by about a 1/16 of an inch. So that tells me it's either a crooked neck set or possibly a crooked bridge set. But for the most part, the strings are okay over the frets, so I don't think I'm gonna bother with it. I mean, now the strings are straight on the nut. They're straight off of the nut, straight going through the string tree, straight going to the post. So on the upper frets or the lower frets, whichever way you look at it, a little slightly closer to the edge of the fretboard, but now the strings are straight, so I'll probably just get some sandpaper and file that off and call it done. It does fit, the string action's perfect. I didn't have to do any refiling or anything of the nut slots. Everything fit perfect. The height's perfect. So that's definitely the TUSQ nut you need for the Glarry Gjazz 5-string. So, and the intonation was dead on at the first fret, so I'm just gonna probably leave that like it is and not worry about it. If this was like a super expensive instrument, I'd probably try to figure out if the bridge needed to be moved or something, but I'm gonna leave that. As always, if you like my videos, please hit that subscribe button, hit the like, comment, and share. And if you want to be notified of future videos, be sure to hit that bell. So that's the nut you need for the Glarry Gjazz 5-string. As always, have a good night.